Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at the Blogger background section. So you'll remember that this is basically the main functionality of the website, and this will probably, I'm assuming, take the most time to put together whatever databases that you have to use. So right now we're looking at the Photoshop file, and it's called Blogger background page. And if we jump over to the box folder, and go down, you'll see the Blogger Backgrounds folder. If you click on that, you'll see this Blogger background page, and that's what this is here. So what you're seeing are three columns. Okay, and this is important. There needs to be three columns. The actual thumbnails are behind these PNG frames. Okay, so if we go back really quick to Shabby Blog's current website, scroll down here. So thumbnails are the same. Where it says install background, instead of saying that now, it says get the code. So this transparent PNG file needs to be used for every one of these backgrounds. Where you've got the thumbnail, obviously that's where the thumbnail goes. Now you'll see here that one big difference on her current website, she has a title and she also has this design elements by. Okay, you'll notice that here you don't see those. It's just the thumbnail and get the code. Instead, the way this is changing is there's this pink frame off to the left. And the pink frame is going to house the filter options for all of these. So essentially, what we need you guys to do is, if we jump back to Box, we're in the Blogger Backgrounds folder. You'll see there's a, there's this document that's called Blogger Background Filter Categories. So if we look at that, click on that, you'll see a list of all the categories that apply or can apply. So every blog background will have some series of these styles associated with it. Okay, so every one of them will be either standard or wide. It has to be one of those from a size standpoint. Every blog needs to have at least one category. It can have more. It has to have at least one color, and then it also has to have graphics by. So these are the filter categories. So if we jump back to the PSD file, you'll see that inside this pink box we'll have a search box up here at the top. But then we need to have category headers. So, for example, size would be right here, and then check boxes for regular or wide, and then color, and then check boxes for all the different colors. Now, obviously, all that information is not going to fit inside this pink box. So, just like the advertisements page on the splash page, or the advertisement section, this pink box needs to expand seamlessly. So the content, depending on how much content is in here, this box will expand accordingly. Now, to help you out, I don't know if this will help you or not. Let's see. If we jump back here, you'll see that in the Blogger Backgrounds folder, I've got the get the code graphic, the individual PNG. And then you'll see these three files. So pink frame thin top, pink frame thin bottom, and pink frame thin middle. And those are basically this PSD file, or this PNG file, cut up. So the top part is maybe this big, bottom part is maybe this big, and then there's a middle section that should look seamless if you repeat it vertically. Okay, so I'm assuming that's how you probably build this section, is in a table. I don't know for sure, but if that is how you do that. I've pre-cut up those files so you can have the top piece, a middle piece, and then the bottom piece. You'll also notice at the bottom here that although it's cut off, you can see the advertisements section down here. So there's going to be a lot more than just 9 thumbnails. There's actually 400 or almost 400 backgrounds that she offers right now. So as a result, this page will actually get very long, or could get very long. So this right here, although it's cut off in this PSD file, I just wanted to represent that the same look for the advertisement section that's on the splash page needs to be replicated on the interior page also for the blog section. Now the only difference is she needs the ability to put different ads on this section than she does on the splash page. Now they might be the same, but we need her to have the control to determine what ads show up internally versus the splash page. So that's important from however you're going to code this. So just kind of in recap, it should be self-explanatory. The functionality is just like the existing website, except things are reformatted. There's multiple columns now. So when someone clicks on the thumbnail, which you'll see if we zoom in, you'll see that the thumbnail is actually sitting behind a PNG file, because you can see the actual cutout of the wood right here. So this, whatever thumbnail, however you code this graphic for the thumbnail needs to sit behind this PNG file. And the PNG file needs to include this tape. So you can see this is all transparent around the tape and the wood frame. So make sure you code that so the PNG is sitting on top of the thumbnail. So when someone clicks on this, it needs to take them to the preview, like we saw in one of the other videos that talked about shabby blogs. If you click on the Get the Code, a light box needs to come up with the instructions, which you can pull from the existing Shabby Blogs website, and also the embed code that someone would actually copy and paste. Instead of having, by default, we'd like to have maybe 50. We'll just throw out a number there. I'm assuming that's a pretty easy change. We'd like 50 to show up when this page first loads. So 50 thumbnails, whatever the most recent 50 thumbnails are. So the database and the system needs to know which ones have been added most recently, and those need to be the ones that show up first, so the top 50. And then at both the top and the bottom, there needs to be pagination, so people can scroll through or browse through the different pages. But obviously the main search functionality is what shows up in this pink box, and those are the categories that we looked at the beginning of this video. So when someone selects the check boxes, there needs to be a button at the very bottom that says filter. If someone filters it, the correct thumbnails are going to show up here based on whatever filter criteria was used. There should also be a clear button so people can clear all the check boxes so they can start fresh. Now the other thing that we're going to provide you guys is you'll see right here there's Shabby Blogs Blogger Background CSV. Now if we look at this, this would look better if you were to actually download it, which I will do quick. Let me do that. Let me open this up. Sorry, I should have opened this up before. Okay, so you can see here what what this is a nicely formatted spreadsheet that shows all of the blog images along with their variations and their categories. So for example, we have a blog background that's called Saturday Morning. The thumbnail image name is this. The preview image for that background is this. And the actual main background that someone would have in the embed code for their website is this one. You can also see that the size category is standard. It has these styles applied to it. It has these color categories, and this is who the graphics were created by. So it's in a nice format. Everything's nice and comma separated. Yeah, it should be pretty self-explanatory. I'm not sure exactly how you would take this information and convert that into the database, but this is inside the folder on Box. It has all of the images, all their appropriate names, all the categories and colors and size, everything that applies to them. So one row per background. And then based on these, like the style and the color and the graphics by, the size, obviously those are all going to be what shows up based on the criteria that people put in right here. And that's how you'll filter it. So all of these, every thumbnail, every background will have those categories applied to it. And again, like I mentioned in the overview video, the existing file structure for where all those images are needs to remain unchanged. And that's because she already has thousands of people that have her backgrounds embedded on their websites. So we need to make sure that directory where all these files are stored remains intact. If not, we're going to have a lot of problems. So just keep that in mind as a big exclamation point. That's about all I have for this. Again, 3 columns, 50 by default should show up, the newest 50. This box needs to expand based on how big it is. All the categories need to be check boxes so people can filter them. And again, everything needs to be transparent. We want transparent PNGs used throughout so the background shows through nicely. So that's backgrounds. If you have any questions, let me know.